Hello. Good to see you. Good to see you all. I want to clap my hands. Celebrate. We're together. Yeah, that's actually something Jesus talks a lot about in the Course, joining. Join with your brother. Join together. Sometimes I think we miss that, or we're resistant to that, so we don't see it. We read a lot in the Course, but yeah, I think for me it took a couple of years to understand the Course was all about my brother. I thought it was all about me and my enlightenment, but then I realized, no, it's about how I see my brother, how I perceive others. And the world, how I perceive everything outside. Just because all of that is a projection. We have a lot of power. We have a lot of power in the mind. We have a lot of power to project, but we have the same power to heal. That's pretty good, and I'm glad to do it together with you. That's awesome. And I think tonight, the thoughts to talk about that have come to me has a lot to do with putting pressure on ourselves. Most of us put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do the right thing. Even in awakening, even in healing, we put this pressure on ourselves to do it right. Or as persons in the world, when we interact with loved ones, we want to give, we want to be available, we want to do it right, we want to be loving, and it can be a lot of very heavy responsibility, always saying yes to requests and demands and needs of others. But really, there is really only one that can meet any need. The need in ourselves or the need in others. There's only spirit that can meet that need. And if we think it is ourselves and that there is stuff to be done, we just need to give ourselves a breather and relax a bit. I think we can do that here now. We can just take some time and check in with ourselves, how it feels. Maybe there are beliefs in responsibility in you that you want to put on the altar, responsibility for other people. And we can put the responsibility on the altar, but we can also put the other people on the altar. who they are to you, how you see them. Just give it all over to Holy Spirit. Spirit is such a happy taker of all of our problems, all of our people. We can just allow our busy minds to quiet down. Allow your thoughts to flow in one direction, just to the Holy Spirit or the light, whatever feels right for you. And really allow yourself to give over those people in your life that you believe need you. Give over the role that you have been playing. Spirit wants to reshape you into even deeper function and use. And it is the Holy Spirit's responsibility, what comes through us, what we extend. It's not up to us. Sometimes we can get very busy thinking about what we should do. What should I do? What can I do? Even when we don't really have anything to do. But it would be much better to focus on, I need do nothing. Just to sit with that idea, I need do nothing. Especially the little I, the separated self. Because that's the one who wants to get busy. And this is because of this fear of God, this huge fear of God in the mind. So there are those little thoughts about what to do. And it's usually just focusing on the body, those thoughts. What the body should do, what the body needs, or even what the body might need. Might not even be a present need. Actually, it's never a present need. The body has no needs. Actually, it's projected as just a big need, the whole body, because the body wouldn't exist if we didn't project onto it everything that it stands for. Jesus has said that in no single instant does the body exist at all. It's always remembered or anticipated. So there's something going on in the mind. There's something going on in the mind projecting a past and a future represented by a body. This time here together is quite useful. I need do nothing. You can just sit here. Let our minds get still without effort. And when we may have this desire to extend right-mindedness, we can only do that by thinking with God. We can't figure out what to extend. We can still the mind. And just let ourselves off the hook, let ourselves go. And let the thoughts of spirit, the thoughts of God come through. There is no effort in that. Usually there is some self-doubt to pass through. There's a lot of beliefs to pass through, to release. But that's okay. I got really greatly hit by the ego one time when I had an astrological reading maybe 20 years ago. And it said, the astrologer said, you can't do anything without God. He read it in my chart. And I thought surely I could do some things. I had been doing some things. I had been a good student. I'd been a good mother, somewhat good daughter. I thought I had done many things. But he could read in my chart that I will fail in everything that I don't do with God. And the ego took a big hit. Because I think, and you can recognize it, we think we're good at some things. And we think we're not so good at some things, but we still have to do them. But he said, you cannot do anything without God. And I thought, okay, I might as well start now to not do anything without God. So I started practicing that. It was really helpful. It was really a speed up for me. I started to really watch my mind and watch my thoughts and invite God into all of them. And I started to become very careful with what I said, to whom, when, and especially why. What was my motivation? And soon I started to feel like God had my mind. Started to feel like my mind was dwelling in God, or because it was like no difference. I didn't need to seek or try so hard. More like floating in God. And this applies to all of us. I can do nothing without God. It's very true, even literally, even in the ego's world. The power that is used for anything is God's power. Because there is no other. And we could say it's misused in the ego's world. Jesus calls the world a slaughterhouse or a madhouse. And that's because the power of God is misused to make something often quite awful, painful. But it's not really real. It's not there. This is why it is an illusion, because God cannot approve of it. God cannot approve his power to be so misused. But sometimes we're so stubborn. The deceived mind is very stubborn. It seems so real, this world, including how we are born into it, seemingly innocent. But it's all just beliefs to be released. the beliefs about childhood, the beliefs about how we were treated, the beliefs about how we are treated now. It all came from miscreation. It's funny because the Course talks about miscreation. And it's really, the world is really miscreation. But then it talks about the fear of miscreation. There is a fear to miscreate. So there's a fear of rightfully using the power of the mind. There's a fear of letting God or Spirit use our minds because of a fear of miscreation. But that's because we're awakening. It's because there is still a deceived mind there. There is still a belief in a person there. So we can keep releasing the person, keep giving over the person with this prayer. Use me. Use even this person that I thought I was. Spirit can do that. Spirit can do anything. Even to use a deceived miscreation, a persona, when we hand it over. And it takes no effort on our part. Only a little willingness to open the mind, to open the heart, and relax a bit. And trust a whole lot too. Trust and follow. Relax a little bit and trust a lot when the guidance comes. Because usually the guidance comes to help you even further out, to help you out of your comfort zone, to help you wake up. And this, the ego doesn't want. The ego doesn't want to get out of the comfort zone. It wants to stay there. And that's why a whole lot of trust is needed. It says, release your loved ones to me. Spirit says, just release your loved ones to me. Because I have them already anyway. You never had them. When you had them, they were distorted in your mind. They were not who they are. So please give them over to me, says the Holy Spirit. Everyone was distorted. Everyone is distorted from the deceived mind's perspective. We've made an ego for ourselves, but we've actually made an ego for everybody else too. And it's not their ego, it's our ego we see in them. That's why Spirit wants us to give over each and every single one of them. You know, Jesus also channels God in the Course by saying, you know, if I had given the world to you, you would have destroyed yourself. You would destroy yourselves. So I couldn't let something like that happen. But I think with this misuse of the power of the mind, we almost destroyed ourselves. We almost thought we did. It was quite dark. On this planet. But here comes the metaphysics that it isn't real. It was this dream of separating from God. The dream of separation made it so dark and so sad and so painful and so lonely. And this is what we're dealing with anytime we have a doubt thought or a doubt feeling. It's the darkness of this universe. It's the pain of separation from God. But all it is a doubt thought in our own consciousness. It's not out there in the painful events. It's in our consciousness. It's in the perceiver. So we need to come back to the perceiver. We need to come back to the dreamer. Always when, and especially when we perceive something painful or difficult. Especially then, and that's the time when the mind is most reluctant to take a step back. That's when we don't want to sit still and look. When we have projected something, when we have been triggered by something, then usually the mind rushes out there and blames or wants to change something or someone. But here is where we have a lot of possibility, a lot of power at those times to be really willing to step back. That would be very, very good use of the mind, and that would speed up awakening for sure. For sure. We may need to just say, shut up to the ego and say, I'm going to look at this. I'm not going to follow the crazy ideas and blame someone. can be intricate, but Spirit will actually send the help. Spirit will send the perfect support. We can trust that. I have trusted that. And it worked. So how are all of you doing? Or any of you? Something you would like to explore here together? So we have, usually people just use their hand, their physical hand, but we also have the electronic hand. If you want to share, you can use the electronic hand or the physical hand.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering, I was reading this morning, forget which lesson it was, but it was talking about, this kind of seems to be the theme in my head the past few days, and we're kind of talking about it, like a will apart from God's. Like you believe in a will apart from God's. And I've never quite understood what that means. And I'm wondering if you can give me some clarity on what the Course is talking about there.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what I've been talking about.
Yeah.
The belief that there is another will, that you have your own will.
Oh, sorry to be slow. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
When I'm, my mind tends to make everything a lot bigger than it is, and a lot more complicated than it is. I believe that I have my own will.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can work with that. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it is deep. It is to find out that you don't have your own will.
Yeah.
The will is one with God's. And that's what you always wanted. But the problem is, you thought you wanted something else. You thought that God's will was not good enough, that you wanted something more. So in this little private universe, there is this private will, private wish to be separate, to be apart from the whole. And that's
How do you look at that without belittling yourself and judging yourself?
But what's self? That doesn't really matter. I mean, it's the separate self that would feel judged and belittled. But that's the self that is unreal. And you're not here to belittle it, but you're not here to love it either. It's not you.
No.
So it's okay to take it in. It's okay to take in the truth. You can't hurt even the little self.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. We can go to you next. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, dokes. Can you guys see me properly? Or okay,
now we can see you and hear you.
Okay. All right, great. I think just to perhaps just help Anna Marie there with what I found out just yesterday is that the whole, not that I'm trying to give advice, I'm just saying that what sat with me yesterday is that we, in this illusion, the decision is, well, it's not even a decision. We are God, simple as that. But when we are born in the dream, we choose to deny that, or part of the dream is to deny that. So that is the separation. And in this book that I read, it says that you can continue to live like that if you choose, but it doesn't deny the fact that you are still God anyway. It's whether or not you just want to continue with God. And continuing with God and believing who you are then will bring you back to ultimate reality. I don't know if that has any bearing, but I mean, that was just, I felt like maybe it had some resonance for whoever needed to hear something like that. But my question is a little bit more practical. When I'm feeling, okay, obviously I'm completely new here, and my journey is possibly a little bit shorter than everyone else at the stages. In practical terms, and to get some rest. Now, I'm not even talking about during the day. I'm just talking about some decent sleep. Do enlightened people or participants of this course or the process, what is the kind of general feeling about using something like a sleeping tablet, or are there any other ways to settle the mind so that you actually are not so physically exhausted by having to deal with the next day, if that makes any sense? I know that obviously perhaps the further along you get, you can rest at any time, but that intermittent phase, however long that may be, is there, it's easy to say, well, there is no self, so you don't have to take care of the body, I would imagine, but while you're trying to know yourself, is there a sense of intermittent relief? So, for instance, I'm not saying, go drink yourself into a coma every night. I'm just saying, is there a technique? Is there something like that? I don't know. If that makes my question any clearer, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus talks about it, and he says a mix of magic and miracles can be very helpful when there is too much fear in the mind to go directly to the light, to go directly into the miracle. Then he says, yeah, you can use magic, you can use something like that, but make sure to mix it with your prayer, with your desire for awakening, and maybe try that first. Maybe, try to go to spirit first, or give yourself 10 minutes of sitting with how you feel, praying, because it's always something to look at in the mind when you cannot sleep, when you cannot rest. And of course, it can be hard to look at something if the thoughts are just spinning, but there are ways to go within, maybe journaling or just reading aloud and contemplating. Or
I think it's obviously just because we probably all have these huge, not so huge mental blocks or whatever the case may be, and you spend you can spend an entire day trying to rehash and rework it and work through it and do these things, and that's kind of for a lot of people that's the nature. So in other words, if you've got a problem, you try and fix it. And that's why I liked your message for tonight, saying you've got to learn to let go and trust God to fix it. But the very nature of you sort of human existence or the dream is to say, well, I'll get something quickly. I'll go and get a tablet. I'll go to the doctor. I'll go do this. I'll go do that. And I just want to know, I mean, I kind of knew already that there was going to be the answer, but ultimately you're going to have to let go of all those crutches.
Yeah, and to look at the belief in sleep and the reliance on sleep, that sleep actually makes you restful, or that sleep gives you something that you need. There's a strong belief there. There was a time when I decided to remove all my concepts of sleep and days and nights. And I decided to be awake when I was awake, to sleep when I slept, whether it was night or day. And it was awesome. I really let go of this pressure that I had to sleep at night. I would just put all my effort or all my willingness into looking at my mind at all times. So I would sit up and read the Course at night sometimes, or just sit, just be, sometimes meditating. And I would, in the day too, I would fall into very deep meditations, sometimes laying on the bed, maybe falling asleep, or just going into a very high state. So, releasing pressure is just so powerful. And then give yourself the space to, because all those concepts about sleep or food, or take, anything here in the world, it's just a concept that we have been clinging to. But it's so freeing to let go of the power we gave to it. And say, I'm going to be, if I'm going to rest, I'm going to rest in God. I'm going to be rested by God. If I'm going to eat, I'm going to be fed by Spirit. I'm going to not rely on food, and if it's food issues or overeating or undereating, to even give that over and look at that, to maybe to take some time to sit and look at the mind before rushing into the habits. I think all habits are unhelpful in a way.
Well, it keeps you reliant on the ego.
It keeps us like little robots.
Yeah.
You brush your teeth, you have to do that, and it's like little robots.
I think mine is obviously also fear-based, because you think about food, and now over the last couple of weeks I've lost a few kilograms because I just haven't felt hungry. That could well be my anxiety. It could be a whole lot of things. But there's also a fear. There's a fear attached to it, because I don't want things to get worse in the dream. So you don't want the body to get sick, because then you get pulled closer into the dream with more extreme circumstances.
Well, that's another powerful teaching. There is no order in illusion. So who decides that a sick body is worse than a not a healthy body?
Sure.
This is for us to not judge, but to look at that fear that comes up. Oh, what if I don't get enough food? What if I don't get enough nourishing food? For most people, there's a lot of strong beliefs about that.
Sure, that's just that's just food. Now I can imagine money issues. Imagine that's that must be probably 100 times worse. Saying, listen, it's all well being in touch with God, but if I haven't got a roof over my head or I don't have electricity, then we're going to have issues.
There's huge beliefs about that. But the protection of the body is a preoccupation of the deceived minds. That's all this world is about. Until we come across awakening, until we feel the call inside to realize what we are. But then we still have to work through all these beliefs. The belief in gluten, what gluten does in our body, makes me bloated, it makes me constipated, it makes, and it seems to be a shared dream. A lot of people feel that and think they have that issue, but it's a projection. It's not true. It's not true. When I met Barret, I still had some of those beliefs, and he said, those chips are like, they're so good for your system. They're so good for you.
Potato chips.
Yeah, because I did project that certain things did something in my body, because we're taught, we were mistaught about a lot of things.
So we're projecting our own disease, actually, at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Makes sense.
The deepest belief, the deepest disease is the belief in separation.
Yeah, I mean, that is essentially why I think we're all here. I was thinking about it today, is where I think may have been from your call, Jenny, where you realize that this world offers you, promises you everything, but delivers on nothing. And so I think we've all reached perhaps a stage in our evolution, reincarnations, whatever you would like to call it, where we just don't buy into the bull anymore. The only sort of release or relief is the truth.
Yeah.
I think I'm not speaking on behalf of others. I think that sometimes there's also a fear to believe what is true, actually.
There is a great fear of release in the mind. A great fear of release. That's why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I had to go and speak to a random person on the street now, or whatever, and tell them that I believe what we're talking about now, they'll be like, "Oh, come on, that's a cult. You guys are crazy. Whatever. You're gonna lose your money. Blah 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 blah." But it's the only kind of thing that rings true. Everything else just does not ring true. Whether it was Jesus who said it, or it was inspired by the Holy Spirit or God himself, nothing else seems as pertinent or inspired as that. Even if you had to go to church, and I'm not knocking people that do go to church, there's a concept that just doesn't seem to sit right.
There is a belief in sacrifice. There's a belief in loss, that belief that you will lose your money, or you will lose. Yeah, it's true. You will actually lose everything. There's no gain for the ego. There's no getting, we're going to lose everything that the ego had. But it is not real, so there is no loss, but there is this belief in sacrifice, and it gets projected outward. It's belief that, I'm going to lose something that I find valuable. I'm going to lose what I most value. And in the development of trust, Jesus goes through that very clearly, that, you do need to let go of what you hold on to. Just because there is a part of your mind that has realized that there is no salvation in it. Like you said, it promises a lot, but there is nothing to get. So it is a big letting go, but not of anything real. Okay. And the belief in cults.
Sorry, carry on talking. I interrupted, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just another belief to face, I did that too when I went into the course community and studied the course. I was like, I'm in a cult now, I thought. And that felt very scary, felt fearful, because I'd heard many stories about cults and people who had to be deprogrammed and stuff. So I thought this is maybe scary, but I thought, no, I've had enough taste of it. You know, I've felt something, I've felt spirit in this. So I'm going to trust this. If it's a cult, so be it. It's going to save me to follow this, you know. And it was just another fear. It has fallen away now. I believe that the world is a cult. Governments, you know, it's a lot of secrecy, you know, craziness. So, yeah.
Good. Thanks.
Thanks for sharing. Good to have you.
You need to unmute yourself.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like at the moment, I mean, that's one thing that I feel like I want to offer up. Maybe is just dealing with like a death, not a death, but my dad is dying. So, I mean, the belief in death is, it is coming up, but I am not. I don't feel sad though. I mean, I do keep present, but I don't know if I'm not in touch with. I'm not getting really in touch with the belief, or am I genuinely at peace? So I don't know. I'm not gonna struggle with this, but I'm just offering up this relationship to the
But
Holy
how do you
Spirit.
feel? Maybe we can explore it like if you
Yeah,
have
how do I feel? Okay, so I do feel like I do not want to be spend too much time with my dad, and that is probably because it does bring up uneasiness when I am there. But yeah, I don't really.
So what is
Because
the uneasiness? Let's explore the
Mhm.
uneasiness. You feel uneasy when you visit him.
Yes, I feel uneasy. I don't want to stay there too long,
Okay,
or
tell
sit,
me,
you know.
how does it feel when you sit there, when you're there with him? What are your thoughts there
What are my thoughts?
when you sit there with him?
Oh, the thought that comes up, but I don't know if this is denial, but like I feel his truth, his spirit, and this is not who he is, right? And but I don't know if that is me ghosting.
Yeah, so what
Or,
is it that you see in him when
yeah,
you sit there and you have that thought, well, this is not who he is?
yeah.
What are the judgments? What are the feelings about him?
I feel like why have you chosen this path? Like I do feel that sort of judgment coming up. Like, why did you decide to get sick like this? And I do have judgments like because my stepmom, she has dementia as well now. So they're both going quite backwards fast. It's almost like they're in competition who can be the biggest victim of the year. And I just feel, yeah, obviously I'm just kind to them. So I don't, so there is judgment there. Like I try to be the role of the good, kind son and not obviously I can't call them out on what I think what's going on in their minds or what I think is happening. And I
So
don't
that,
know if it's in their minds or it's happening in mine.
yeah, well, you
So,
can stay with
yeah.
your mind. You just stay with your mind. See what feels painful about the sickness or fearful.
What feels fearful? Yeah, I do have, yeah, there's some future fears like, how are we going to take care? Once my dad is gone, then we have to take care of my well, we can just say, call it my mom, because she is like my second mom. So how are we going to take care of her? So there's fears around that. And I know, like when my mom died, then I had the emotional release. But since my dad is not dying right now, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Well, you can stay with that fear that when he dies, you're gonna have to take care of her. You're gonna have to responsibility.
Responsibility.
Does that feel?
Yeah, that's it.
Just we can even just stay with it a little more. Just breathe that feeling of having to. You think you have to take care of somebody, your stepmom.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay to be with this. But maybe there is also some blame towards your dad for being sick, for maybe dying. That he's leaving you.
Yeah, that is maybe something that I felt like, because he did, like, in the hospital, he did say, okay, no, sorry, like he explained to me and my sister that, that he doesn't want to continue treatment. And then I felt really sad. But yeah. Like, it is important to get in touch with your emotions, right? Because you need to go through the emotion to the thoughts to the beliefs to get back to the desire.
Very helpful to allow your emotions. Yeah.
Yes. My mind is. I feel like I have gone backwards since I last met you guys. Like, I have gone the opposite way. It's a major ego whiplash, and then my mind becomes so analytical, or the ego self, or whatever.
Yeah, it can be like a defense, the analytical mind, the intellect, but yeah.
Is it best to like feel, to be in touch with the emotion before bringing something up? I mean, like, I don't know what's helpful, but
no, don't figure it out. Don't make rules for yourself. That's probably another thing that your intellect does.
Yeah.
But it's the best way to approach the healing. How shall I lay out this?
Yeah, that is my mind.
It's the right way.
Yeah, what is the right way? How do I do this right? I want to get this right. And
no, I think you're doing great, even lifting this up, these thoughts about death and a family member's death upcoming. Just lifting this up, you are looking at it, you're allowing some feelings here.
Like, and then there's one more thing that I also want to like I've been going to the gym almost like 6 months now, just working on the body, making the body better, getting more fit. Yeah, so would also like to, I don't know, this purpose of, but then my ego, I get these thoughts like, you know, one or the other. Like, it probably, okay, that's my analytical mind now. Like, it's only the purpose that I give it, right? That makes it helpful or unhelpful. So I can also give this over to the spirit to use and still do it, right?
Still get a fit body.
Still get a fit body. I can still have my cake and eat it too. All right. So that's
well, gentleness. You know, gentleness with yourself is very helpful. So, you know, if you still desire things, to allow them, they are going to drop away. You know, I had horses. I loved horses, and I had my own horses. Then there was one day I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't sit on a horse and do it. It feels wrong. I'm all about awakening now. I could no longer do these things. Or watch TV. There was a day where I was like, oh no, I cannot do this anymore. This doesn't support awakening. I can't. So I just dropped things. And Jesus talks about that, how you, like children, when they play with toys, they just, when they outgrow them, they just walk away from them, you know. So, and this, you know, when you're healing and awakening, you're going to get such a taste of extending that you're not going to want to do anything else, because you're going to feel like you confuse your mind with things that are not meaningful or meaningless, you know, that are nothing. So, but yeah, if you go to the gym and use the time to pray and watch your mind, you know, that could be one way of using it.
Yeah. And I feel like, can we this desire to be with some special body or some special loved one, is that also something that I can offer up? And just because this idea, I don't know, has been coming up a lot in my mind. And as you said, the dream, the illusion, or the sharedness of the illusion, or like other people also having the shared sort of beliefs. And it does come up for my cousin as well. So me and him often talk. So yeah, I feel like I would like to offer that up as well. Just be so freeing, just to not, because I had a good taste of it today, just extending and talking to random people. You know. Beautiful. And I also just had this thought also come up, you know, use me, or just I want to be helpful, or yeah. Then I do feel it opens up something in the mind and you for opportunity or to extend.
Exactly the same talk with Lucy earlier before this meeting about extending. You know, and then she called me back and was like, I'd put a lot of pressure on herself suddenly about extending. How will I do it now? And I said, you do it with your thoughts. It's thought. Right-minded thoughts extend spirit. You know, that's how you extend. And then sure, you get opportunities sometimes, but you cannot orchestrate them yourself. You just let them come. Yeah. So yeah, and you mentioned the desire for a relationship, and you know, it is practical. This awakening journey is so practical. You can't take a big high jump into heaven, you know, because you do have a lot of beliefs, concepts. So it is about giving it over to Spirit. So let Spirit orchestrate the illusion for you. Your illusion, you know, pardon me, but it's a mess, you know. So it's like, Spirit, take this and order this for me. Show me what is helpful. Give to me what will open me up for awakening, for healing. I want a relationship, but I want to let you orchestrate it, Spirit.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, this is a really good matchmaker. It's very interesting.
Just because I mean, like, the ego is all about getting, and I feel like that leads to the opposite. It's the wrong path, like that getting mechanism, and get more into the giving.
Yeah, but who needs to teach you? Who needs to teach you about giving? Only Spirit, only God, because the ego has a way of giving. We think we know how to give and how to be loving, and that is usually a block.
Yeah, because we will reinforce the dream, right? Because we don't understand how to awaken or how to.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I do asking the Spirit for help. So, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Keep asking.
Yeah. Keep asking.
Yeah. Keep asking even more. Get more and more dependent. Get more and more dependent on Spirit. That's not a dependency to be afraid of. That's why Jesus says that become like little children. Really become like little children, you know, and because little children, they completely realize that they're so dependent on their parents. We need to be dependent on our one parent, on God. I don't really like the analogy of parent, because it's not, the earthly parents are not very, very like God. So, but the creator, the source, to be dependent on our source. Yeah. For everything. Absolutely everything. There are many things we think God cannot help us with. Pretty much everything in form. We want to handle ourselves. But God can handle everything, all of it, and should. We want to get clear, if we want to get happy. It's all opportunities also to see where we think God will not handle it, where we get afraid and we think we have to handle it ourselves. That's useful information as we heal. We can release those areas in our minds. Okay, thank you for your pondering.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Peter?
Hi.
Hi.
Just wanted to, while Dean was speaking, I just was really aware of feeling fearful and holding back. And I just, it feels very strong right now. The fear of it feels so much easier to express about my darkness, but to be seen to express about the light feels, that, like posting some of these social media stuff, writing something, I can agonize around that and turn myself in knots, and yeah, I feel a strong calling for it to share, to extend. Yeah, it feels terrible. It does. At this moment, I'm feeling a lot of stuff's been going between us and within myself. And today, I just suddenly realized I was just feeling really terrified of this. Thing I wasn't going to share. I wasn't feeling called, and then suddenly it was so strong. I just want to just stop and just kind of. It's just.
Yeah. The fear of the light, the fear of you, of the greatness of who you are.
Mm.
It's like the truth in you wants to sound the trumpet. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
It's that sort of like joyful noise.
Like for a short while, I can blow my own trumpet, so to speak. But just I can do it. Just when it sometimes comes through, and then the fear comes. I think I've been here before a lot, but this feels like suddenly here. I don't really have. I haven't got it sorted out in my mind either. It's just like what I'm going to say. I just like to feel more solid.
Yeah, just keep extending and you will. You're going to feel more confident in it, solid in spirit. The ego is scared of extending.
Yeah.
But you're not it. And the spirit extending through you, it's not even you. And so that's very comforting. Give the responsibility over.
And yet the sort of unworthiness feels strong, so strong.
It's like coming out of the closet a bit.
Yeah, definitely. And I keep promising myself I'm going to write something on Facebook confessing that I now believe in God or love God. And that feels, well, right now that feels difficult. But I'll go and try and write something about that, and I can see I'll turn it inside out. That's what I generally, especially around writing. Writing is too much of a testament. It's like, there you go, you see. You can always come back to it. I care about what people think about this seemingly so much more than I do seemingly about stuff.
Then don't write it to Facebook. Just write it to me.
Write it to you.
Yeah. Write me a letter about how much you love God.
Okay.
And then you can do whatever you want with it after that. But write it to me.
Okay. So don't take this wrong, Barret. I just would love to be able to write it like to God, and just not care what anybody thinks.
There you go.
But thank you. I'm. It feels good what you said. I think I might not spend a lot of time writing. I'll just write it out because I've written to you both before, so I could just do that.
Directly, yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
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 You take the next step directly.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this. It feels good.
Yeah.
Just keep allowing that come through you.
Thank you. I just want to say I'm really enjoying, I presume they're both from South Africa. It sound like they're from South Africa, but our friends from South Africa.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I really enjoyed them. It just so
I think it's delightful. You
yeah.
know, you're going there soon, and yeah.
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 Yeah, and have a good retreat.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Yeah.
We'd like to be there.
Yeah, you're with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The retreat is kind of started. We have 5 participants here already. Yeah, here tonight too.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, so I arrived here just 2 hours ago, as you know. I was praying the whole time, like, is there something I want to share? And now just when Peter shared, something came up for me that I wanted to share with you. I can like always really feel it clearly because my heart starts racing and it's like my whole system says, okay, now it's time to express. And what came up was this huge shift that I went through recently. It's like I can see that I used to like really hold on to specific situations, feelings, and even insights. Like it was like positive and negative, and I like had the feeling that I had to hold on, like stretch it in time. Like when I read something, I said, "Oh, I have to really remember this." Or when something happened, was like, "Oh, I really have to work to forgive this." Instead of like being really in the moment and just let it pass through as it is in the moment, and then being able to let it go and move to the next moment. And yeah, this feels like a huge thing that recently happened in my mind, and it gives me so much more yeah, like freedom. Even when something happens what I used to like really drag over time, like kept replaying in my mind, and much more easy now say, okay, that happened. I was as present as possible with it, and now it's okay, and I can allow myself to relax in the next moment, and that feels huge, like a big step on this path. And I just felt to share that with you all. Not sure why, but it came up quite specific, like the time to share this. Yeah.
More kindness, more gentleness towards yourself. Like
Yeah.
to leave.
Yeah. Not being the martyr of myself all the time, and like, yeah. So, but also with the positive things, with the insights, like, oh, I really got to remember this, what I now just experienced. I have to hold on to it, like personally, but I can trust that it will settle in my mind somewhere, and that that it's there forever. It's not gonna go away when I don't hold on tight. So yeah, it feels really freeing.
That's good. Beautiful. Anything else?
No, for now it's okay. I think I'll be having lots of opportunities in the coming days.
We will. Yeah. Yeah. Very warmly welcome here to us.
Really good to be here. Thank you.
To have you here.
Thank you all for sharing. We shared before me.
Beautiful. I have kept thinking of an orange, so I think I'm gonna.
You're gonna manifest one into your experience.
Yeah, we have some oranges here. We have several trees full of oranges right now. So yeah. So, but I think maybe it's time to go and have an orange. And there's somebody sitting here with very strong desire to share a last share. Otherwise, I think we will. Okay, Luna, is it more important than an orange?
I think it's important. I don't know about the orange. I don't compare. But no, very quickly, I just want to put something on the altar because I don't really want to. I'm feeling very defensive. It's not dissimilar to what Peter said, but what actually I'm afraid of extending to men, especially men my age. I'm in this program at the moment in the gym with men my age, and I notice I come a lot from the past, and I'm guarded, and I'm like prim and proper. So I just want to put that on the altar that, that I don't want it to be taken the wrong way. Like it's in the past, it's like my innocence can be taken the wrong way. I don't know. I don't want to analyze it, but I want to open it up and give it to Holy Spirit because it's a big one for me.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's like I put this barrier straight away of being prim and proper, and it's not serving me. It feels nicer to extend, but yeah, I'll work on that with Holy Spirit.
That's good insights, you know.
You can have your orange now.
I'm gonna have it, yeah. But it's very beautiful insights to see how you can, you know, sometimes have a whole category that you exclude from your extending because of some belief, you know. And this good to see. It's helpful. Yeah. Category of men, a certain age, are not worthy to receive your extending because of a certain belief. So that's, you're onto it, Muna.
Yeah.
Well, let's open up all the floodgates so that we can extend all to all. That's a prayer. We can extend all to all without interpretation, without analyzing, without planning, without preparing, just allowing it. Give all to all. I love you all.
Yeah. Love you so much. Just a reminder that we're gonna not have another Zoom session until a week from tonight, same time as tonight's session. We'll be in retreat the next 4 or 5 days, and yeah, we'll rejoin on Zoom in a week. So yeah.
Hope to see you then.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here tonight. Take care.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night. All the hearts.